I also just want to take a moment and talk about how I actually have a tripod now. I don't know if you guys saw what I was using before, but it was basically 2 boxes on top of each other, then plus a phone holder for the car. But now I have an actual tripod and this device to hold the phone and all that kind of stuff. So if I wanted to get a camera, I could just add to it, or lights, or anything like that, and I'm super excited about it.
Take me down to where my stars are shining all around me like halogen 1 billion.
Alright guys, welcome back to my channel. It's been like a hot minute, I must say. Let me think. My last videos, I think I did another life update. I think that was one of my main last videos that wasn't already pre-recorded. And then I started posting some pre-recorded stuff, and then I just fell off the face of the planet for like 6 months. 5 months? 4 months? I don't remember when I posted that video. February? 5-ish months, you know. It is what it is. I don't know why. I think I just I think mentally I couldn't do it. Like, I know a lot of people probably could do the whole YouTube thing and recording and, you know, all that kind of stuff while being pregnant. I was not one of those people. I was so tired all the time. I was anemic. They did diagnose me with, and so I ended up taking iron pills, and that that just brought me up to slightly before I was pregnant level, which was not very good anyway. And then I was just down. I was so tired all the time. I couldn't force myself to record or anything like that. I did have videos recorded though. I just didn't post them. I don't know why. So a little update, because this is going to be added on with my pregnancy stuff and my labor and stuff, because I do have a baby girl now. I did have my baby girl, so this is post-pregnancy and all that kind of stuff, and I'll go into all the details of the pregnancy. I just didn't want to do it during this part, because if you guys wanted to skip it, that's fine with me. But anyways, so life update, or at least an update for my channels. I will be resuming making videos. There's probably not going to be a designated 4th of July video, I can tell you that right now, because I don't have anything planned for that, and that's in less than a week. Other than that, it's going to be gaming content most of the time. Maybe a few vlogs here and there, kind of similar to what I did before, and all that kind of good stuff. So that will resume July 1st, or July 2nd. When you're watching this video, I should have all of this week lined up, all of next week lined up, and then hopefully I get back into the routine of recording and editing and all that kind of stuff, because I kind of fell out of it after my surgery, and then I just never was able to get back into it. So there's that too, which kind of I'm not to get too much into it, but I don't know how YouTube is now. When I left, it wasn't a great place to be a gamer and recording and posting gaming content, so I don't know how that's going to affect it. I am planning on streaming, just not in July, I don't think. I think I want to get into the swing of recording again, and then swing over into streaming. So we'll see how it goes. But that is my plan. So maybe it turns out that I do little life vlogs here and then stream games on Twitch or Mixer. I think it's gonna be Mixer. Just gonna heads up now. You guys can add me. I already have a Mixer account set up. I also have a Twitch account set up because I haven't really chosen, because I like that Twitch is purple. These are the thoughts that run in my life. Leaving my hair down was a mistake, because she can reach it and touch it and pull it. That's another thing. I think I'm gonna get a haircut now that I am a mom. And hang on, my focus died. Okay, there we go. But yeah, I have this whole life update thing. I am gonna resume recording. I've gotten these things from PAX. These are games I thought were interesting and looked fun. I'm gonna start doing NDFriday again. It's been a really long time since I did that. I have never done it consistently. I want to make that a goal, to do it consistently, because I really want to shine some light on some indie games that are fun, in which all of these are indie games, and some of them are not out yet, so hopefully they come out soon. I don't know what my hair is doing back here. I'm trying to get it away from the baby at this point. I thought about putting it up, but then I had to put her down, and then she has this thing where if I lay her flat, she spits up, so I did not want to do that. So I'm keeping her upright because I just fed her for at least 30 minutes. baby talk and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I'm going to continue to resume my recording. I don't know if all the series are gonna make the cut before I left. Like Prey is one of those ones that's on the rocks. I like the game. I had fun playing it. I just don't know if I want to go back into it. I don't know. It's a weird like, I want to play something new, and so that might be one of the games that gets cut. I'm not sure. I do have a lot of pre-recorded stuff, so anything that you guys see in for this next month, as far as Life is Strange is concerned, is going to be pre-recorded, and they were recorded back in like January. I might go ahead and just add them all into one episode, but frankly, that's a lot of recording I have to do to make up for all the episodes that I'm not going to have to post. So I don't know if I'm going to do that or not. I'm kind of like up in there. Right now I don't have that set up. Right now I have it set up to where the last recorded episode of any of the games is the 3rd week of July, and then it's all new content from there. So I don't know if that's what I'm going to continue doing. That's kind of like my thought process. Anyways, while I've been gone, The Sims 4 Seasons came out a week ago today, actually, as I'm recording this, and I haven't played it yet. I really want to have some cool ideas, I think, to play. I'm sure other YouTubers have probably ever done it, but I think it's one of those things where what I'm going to do is unique enough to where even if I do another YouTuber's thing, that it won't matter because my style will be different, I guess. I don't know. I just thought of it like last night. I was like, why don't I do this thing? And so that's what I'm thinking about doing. So I don't know if anybody else has done it, but I'm sure they have, and I'm going to do it anyway. So that won't be until maybe the 2nd week of July. I'm not sure. I have a whole bunch of plans for The Sims. I'm going to post my veterinary stuff. I might go back into that series because I really enjoyed it. It was one of the things I enjoyed because I like rags to riches kind of things, where she's just living off the land until she gets her vet, and I don't know, it makes it so much fun for me. But I don't know, because I kind of also want to do a seasons like series, but I wouldn't know what to do with that. I haven't played with it at all, so I really don't know what kind of content is in there. So yeah, that is where we're at in the life story of me. I am back, I'm recording, I'm going to post this on July 2nd, hopefully. I get it all recorded and all that kind of stuff, because, you know, baby and stuff, but it shouldn't be an issue. It shouldn't. Shouldn't is the key word, because I am still incredibly tired and so forgetful. And that was another thing, is I just kept forgetting to edit this stuff. I don't know, like, my last few months have been a blur since the surgery. I don't know if that just like killed me like motivational wise, or if that just took me down like a notch where I'm like always on the go, 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 and suddenly I couldn't be. Hey, what's wrong? Why do you have my hair in your mouth? Stop it. Anyways, on to the journey, because I'm going to start over on the pregnancy stuff. And yeah, so journey. Anyways, I know I've already touched on this in the middle of my surgery videos. I didn't talk much about the pregnancy, I don't think. I don't remember if I did or not. I'm sure I did, honestly. But yeah, so I just wanted to kind of like just start from the beginning. I don't know why I'm saying it like that. I don't know. So, the beginning, before I was even pregnant. We weren't exactly trying for a baby, but we weren't exactly preventing for a baby. So it's one of those things where people are like, oh, that's trying for a baby. And it's like, no, it's just letting life do its thing. I didn't know how fertile I was, honestly, and but apparently I'm fertile. That's good to know. But yeah, so we weren't exactly trying, we weren't exactly preventing it. But then I got pregnant, and so when I found out, it was probably right before October. What sounds are you making right now? Don't look at me. She keeps going like this, like so dramatic. Anyways, where was I at? Oh, I knew about 2 weeks in, because I think I touched on this in the surgery. I had a pinching feeling in my lower abdomen area, which would have been implantation stuff, I'm assuming, because it was very like dignified pinching feeling, and I felt it there for like off and on, and then I was like, my mind has obsessive thoughts sometimes. I'm not sure exactly what it is. It happened really bad after labor, and I can get into that too, but sometimes my mind just starts to think about things all the time, like it races, and it's crazy. And so for the next about week, I was just thinking nothing but baby. So I knew at that point that I was I was 99% sure I was pregnant. But my head was just so consumed with this thought, and I had to like sit down and breathe for like a week straight. This happened. I was like, okay, I can't be obsessed about this. I need to wait to find out if I'm pregnant or not until my first missed period. So I finally like let the thoughts go, like relaxed a little bit, and I kind of forgot about it actually. And then me and my husband were like, okay, let's go to Walmart. I was like, okay, cool, let's go. So we're going to Walmart, and it just dawned on me that it was October 8th, and I was like, I'm 3 days past my period. My period is always on the 5th, right on schedule, every single time. I was like, hey babe, why don't we add a pregnancy test to the shopping list? And he was just like, he wasn't like upset. He was just like, oh, okay, all right. Like he was just kind of shocked because I didn't mention anything to him. I mentioned the pinching, but we, blew it off to like, oh, I must have just like pulled something or, something like that. And I didn't tell him about the obsessive baby thoughts because that could have just been me being obsessive, and I didn't want to seem weird. I don't know. So we take a pregnancy test, and it was positive. Surprise, surprise. And I was super, I was excited and terrified all at the same time, and I wasn't sure if this is what I wanted. He was terrified, but I think he was happy. Like, he tells me he was happy. I hope he's happy because it's a little too late. But yeah, so I didn't know how to feel about it because I knew a lot of things were going to change. Our life so far had just been the two of us. We could go and come as we please. We can go on trips together. We didn't have to worry about responsibilities and all this kind of stuff. If, for some reason one of us lost our jobs, financially we were okay because it was just the two of us. We don't take much to live off of. And then suddenly we had like this little being inside me that we had to be responsible for. And would you believe, like 4 weeks into, no, it would have been, because my missed period, that would have been 4 weeks. So at 6 weeks, so 2 weeks after that, I started getting some really weird abdomen pains on my right side, on my left side, on my left side. No, it was on my right side. Sorry, it was on my right side, throbbing. I thought I was having one of those pregnancies where the egg had fertilized outside of the uterus or the fallopian tubes, or inside. No, it was in the fallopian tubes. There's an E. It's escaping me. Ectoscopic. Am I making this up? I don't know. I thought it was one of those because my mom had problems with that, getting pregnant with me, and I was just like, oh geez, this could be bad. I might have to have surgery, or all that kind of stuff. I'm gonna lose the baby, all that kind of stuff. So we went and had an ultrasound. The baby was fine, obviously, because she's here and you can hear her. And then they looked at my ovaries. My right one was inflamed because that's where I ovulated from. Sorry guys, this is how it's gonna be for a little bit. I'm a little scatterbrained. Pregnancy brain is a thing, and it doesn't go away until like the first year. Anyways, I ovulated from that one, so it was inflamed. It was pumping me full of hormones, and that's what that was. My left one, however, had a mass on it, and it was 4 centimeters at the time, and they said they were just going to watch it. It was solid. That was concerning to them because usually a cyst is liquid, not a solid mass like mine was, and they think it formed with the pregnancy. Honestly, I've always had like trouble with my periods and trouble with intercourse, so I think that maybe I've had it for a while and pregnancy just kind of grew it. So I think that was a thing. So, because I always have like pain, I don't know, it's you can look it up, there's a whole thing on it. So we went to my regular checkups. There was only one time where I didn't get an ultrasound, and I made it pretty clear to that doctor that I wanted to have an ultrasound the next time, because you do monthly checkups when you're pregnant. And so I had almost an ultrasound every single time up until January, And then, or till December when the doctor didn't give me one. He was like, well, we can see if someone's available. And I was like, no, just put me down for the next month. So in January, when I had it looked at, it was 4 centimeters. And then he's like, hey, by the way, you're on the 17th week of pregnancy. At this point, I already knew I was having a baby girl. I was just so excited. Which, backtrack a little bit, like hardcore, like, you know, people prefer certain genders. They don't want to admit it. I really wanted a girl, but I had convinced myself it was a boy. It was such a weird thing. Like, I was like, I really want a girl, but I think it's going to be a boy. And I already had a boy name picked out. I really loved the name. We ever have a second child and we decide to, you know, if it's a boy or not, that's going to be the name. I really wanted a girl. I don't know why. Mostly because I didn't know if I was going to have another pregnancy, and I always wanted a daughter. So I think it's just like that special connection where, you know, the boys always, not always, but, you know, like my husband would have, you know, bonded more with the boy doing boy things, and I would have bonded more with the girl doing girl things, like getting the nails done and the hair. I don't know. It's a thing. And I didn't know if I was going to have another baby. Like, for me right now, as far as I'm concerned, this is it for me. I don't know, because I'm young. I'm only 27. And in 2 years, I might change my mind where I'm like, oh, baby. Kind of like how I was with her. Hang on, she's getting a little fussy. Oh, you're getting a little fussy. Where was I? Oh, yeah. So, I really wanted a girl. I was ecstatic when I found out it was a girl. I was like in tears. I was so excited. I kept the petals on the floor for like a month, just looking at them like, oh, look, they're pink. And then, like, we had a confirmation on the January appointment that she was a female. And then he's like, hey, on 20 weeks, we like to have you come in and do an anatomy scan. We want to put you on the even weeks anyway. You're on the odd weeks. I was on 17. So he's like, will you come in 3 weeks instead of 4? And I was like, yeah, sure. I want to make sure my baby has 10 fingers and 10 toes. And no brain problems or heart problems or anything like that, because they can tell all this stuff now. All that good stuff. So I was like, yeah, sure. I will come in at 3 weeks instead of 4. So we came in at 3 weeks. They were doing an anatomy scan. Everything looked great. They wanted to see the heart more because she was turned around. So they were like, hey, can you come back and, you know, at your normal appointment in 4 weeks, and we will make sure that the heart is good to go, but everything looks fantastic right now. And I was like, okay, great. Could you check my ovary, because we've had a cyst on it for the last couple months, and we just want to make sure that it's the same size. And she's like, okay, sure. And so she looks at it, and then she's like, I'm going to be right back. I don't know what your cyst looked like before, so I'm going to go and look at previous pictures. And I was like, uh-oh. Like, is that putting new? And I looked at my husband, I was like almost crying. He's like, it could be nothing. It could be nothing. I was like, she left the room. She left the room, babe. She left the room. So she comes back and she's like, all right, well, it looks about kind of the same, but I'm not so sure because I can't find your previous scans. And I was like, yeah, you can. She's like, I'm going to just hand this to the doctor and let him decide. Guys, hang on. Okay. So she's eating now. Sorry, guys. Where was I? Oh yeah, I just wanted to go over this really quickly. I know I went over it with my surgery video, but just like a really fast recap. He looks at it and he's like, by the way, I'm going to recommend you to a surgeon in the cancer unit, because it grew, and when a cyst like that grows, they're concerned that it's not benign. They're concerned that it's cancerous. And it went from 4 centimeters to 8 centimeters. So that doubled in size, and there was 2 of them instead of just 1 now. And so I was like, okay. So he recommended me to see her the next day. Or not the next day, over the weekend on Monday. So I had to wait an entire like weekend, and that's my obsessive thoughts again, just racing like the entire time. That's all I was concerned about. That's all I kept thinking about. And she looked at my ultrasounds and all that kind of stuff, and she's like, I'm going to recommend surgery, and we're going to get this thing tested right after surgery. So, like, I'll be in the recovery room as she's looking at it and testing it and all that kind of stuff. And then my family is going to know before me whether or not it was benign or not, which means not cancerous. So I was like, okay, all right, let's do this. So we did surgery the very next day. And that kind of just, I think, threw me for a loop. It kind of like, it made me, I guess, weaker, not motivated, tired all the time, which my channel got affected by that. And I'm sorry, guys. It was kind of a life event that I couldn't help. But it was benign, and I came out of it just fine. I was very overwhelmed at first, and a lot of pain. I just remember pacing in the living room. My husband's like, "Stop, what's going on?" And I just burst into tears, and he hugs me, and I was like, "It hurts. I can't lay down in the bed." My dad and my stepmom ended up buying us recliners just so I can sleep, because I couldn't lay down because it hurt so bad. Just like the surgery part, like to get out of bed, I had to use muscles that they tore into, so I just couldn't do it. So I slept in a recliner for like the first 2 months until it healed. And then I was pregnant and my belly was growing and all these like emotions. Like I was like, I'm not sure if I'm ready for this. Did I pick a bad time, or did we pick a bad time to have a baby? And financially wise, like my work refused my raise at first, and then they gave me a raise but not what I asked for, and like my husband was gonna have to quit his job just to watch her after, and that's still happening. He's going to school while he's watching her and stuff, so he's hopefully like going to get a better job than what he was at, and it's a lot right now. So I'm a little stressed, and you guys are gonna probably see that for the next couple months until I know that we're gonna be okay, because I don't know any of our hospital bills or anything like that right now, and that's a scary part for me. But that was basically pregnancy for me. I didn't have any morning sickness. I was fatigued. That was my biggest symptom, was being tired. I was, lack of better term, motherfucking dragon. I had such bad heartburn. That was like the worst part. I'm gonna miss being pregnant. I guess that's weird. It was nice to feel her like kick and stuff. It was kind of neat. I thought it would freak me out, but it actually didn't. It made me feel comforted because I knew she was there. Like it was like I was never alone, like a single moment in this whole thing. Like I always had somebody with me. And then like it pumps you so full of good hormones. My skin was fantastic. I do have some face demons now. I don't know if you can see my camera, but like that happened within the first month of having her, and I was just like, I didn't have it all 9 months. I loved being pregnant. It's weird. That good hormone, again, I was always in a good mood. I wasn't like the typical, like, you know, the stereotypical pregnant lady where they're, you know, emotional and all that kind of stuff. I wasn't. I was in a fantastic mood. The only time I wasn't was when like I had a legit reason to be upset. Like something happened at work, or like them denying my raise and then not giving it to me. Like I had legitimate reasons for being upset at that point. So after that, that was it. I wasn't always in a good mood. And then I told my work, like, hey, I want to take off. My last day will be, I think I said May 23rd or something like that, maybe May 20th. It was May 23rd. I was like, that would be my last day. No, God, it was May 25th. It doesn't matter. I was like, that'd be my last day. I'm going to take maternity leave from that point on. That was 2 weeks after, or before my due date. They talked me into 2 extra days. So on the 29th and 30th, I would come in, work, and then I would be on maternity leave. They also gave me a really hard time trying to take off 2 weeks before my 40th week. And that was because I live very far away from where I work. Not very far away, but like 40 minutes. And if I went into active labor and I dilated that quickly and had the baby in the car or had to go to a different hospital, I'd be really pissed, because I had been paying this other hospital like monthly payments ahead of time to try to, you know, like compensate for all this. So it was like, yeah, you guys, you don't get it. And they're like, well, so-and-so worked right up until their expected due date. And I was like, I'm happy for them. They also lived 15 minutes from work. They lived 15 minutes from their hospital. I do not. Well, I do live 10 minutes from my hospital, but I work, you know what I mean? Like, I work 45 minutes. I'm in a different state to come here. So, they gave me a really hard time. I agreed to the extra 2 days. And then on the 29th, the day that I was supposed to wake up and come in and then work, I was looking forward to this extra 2 weeks to get stuff done. I had this changing table I was painting. It turned out beautifully. It didn't happen until after she was born. So on the 29th, I think I had this internal instinct back in March when I set these dates because the 29th, 4 o'clock in the morning, my water broke. And so I texted my boss. I was like, remember how I agreed to 2 extra days and I was going to come in and help you guys out until, you know, my due date and all that kind of stuff and just get things rolling and smoothed out? My water broke this morning, so, well, actually I was like, I either peed myself or my water broke, so I don't know if I'm going to be in today. That's how I left it, because I really didn't know, because I was like, did I just pee myself? Because I woke up to a gushing of liquid. It almost felt like my period started. I was just like, okay, did I just pee myself? So I jumped out of bed, went to the bathroom, and it was kind of bloody, and I was like, should I be concerned about this? And then I put, like, you know, a panty liner on, all that kind of stuff, and I went back to bed, laid down for a little bit, because they recommend you to lay down, and if you feel a gush when you sit back up, you probably water broke. So I sat back up after about 2 hours, because I was looking up, like, my obsessive thoughts were like, what to do if your water breaks? How do you know if your water breaks? That kind of stuff. I was looking it up on my phone. My husband was asleep next to me. Oh, it's okay. My husband was asleep next to me, and sorry, I lost my train of thought. This is how I've been for the last month. Would you stop pulling my hair? I'm gonna end up cutting my hair, you know that, right? It's gonna be your fault. Actually, I like it when I cut my hair. Is that weird? Oh yeah, my water broke. So I sat back up, felt a gush of liquid, my alarm went off for 6, my husband woke up, and he was getting ready for work, and I was like, hey, by the way, I'm gonna go ahead and call the hospital. We might want to go to the hospital. I think my water broke. And he was just like, why didn't you wake me up at 4 o'clock in the morning? I was like, because they don't open until 8, and I'm not contracting or anything, and I don't know if I peed myself, and that's super embarrassing, so I really just don't, I just don't know. And he was like, we need to go to the hospital. And I was like, oh no, as long as I'm not contracting, I'm fine. And I was in a upbeat mood. I was pretty positive. When I first thought my water broke, I kind of freaked out a little bit because I was like, oh my god, I'm not ready. I need to paint this changing table. And that's the thing that kept popping in my head. That, and I was like, she's supposed to be a June baby. Why is she trying to be here during May? I was like, you had 2 more days and I could have called you Junebug. Isn't that right? So those were the thoughts popping into my head, and I was like, okay, we're actually gonna have a baby, like, we're doing this. Like, it didn't occur to me until that moment that we're having a baby, but we are. And so we go to the hospital. They just opened. I called. I was like, hey, I think my water broke. And they're like, okay, hang on, we'll get a nurse to call you back. And I'm sitting there in the hospital parking lot like, oh, okay. And they call me back, and they're like, oh yeah, come in. And they're like, are you close? I'm like, oh, I am so close to the hospital right now. I'm in the parking lot. So we go up there, and the receptionist is rude, like really rude. Like, you shouldn't be working with babies if you're gonna be this rude, kind of rude. It wasn't to me, it was to my husband, of all people. She was like, your phone number? And he started saying it. She's like, I'm sorry, what? And he was like, 913. Like, she was just really, really rude. I don't know. Like, she was just an angry little elf at 9 o'clock in the morning. So we get in there, they take the little, like, almost sandpapery thing and test my fluids, and they're like, your water broke. And I was like, oh great, this is the finale. This is the finale. So, I didn't contract. I contracted once, being in the hospital for about an hour after they tested that my water broke. So they put me on Pitocin. And I heard horrible, horrible things about Pitocin, like how it makes your labor worse, and that's not true. It forces you into labor, and it's not that it makes it worse, it's just it makes your contractions closer together faster. So where in natural labor, you'd work up to contractions that are like, you know, a minute apart or whatever, or 2 to 3 minutes apart. Pitocin speeds that up, so it makes it feel like it's worse because you didn't get that gradual work up to it. So I was fine for like, my total labor was 18 hours. I was fine for probably 14 of it without having an epidural. I was breathing through it. The problem was that I wasn't dilating fast enough. I was 4 centimeters at 14 hours, and they didn't, like, they knew, like, they couldn't tell if my contractions were working. So at 4 centimeters, they put a device inside me it would go against the baby's head, and it basically measures your contractions, the strength of them, to see how strong your contractions actually are, if they're actually doing what they're meant to do. So they put that in me, and I contracted while she was putting it in me, and at that point in time the pain was so unbearable I had to get an epidural. Like, that is what broke me, and it's because her hand was in there. By the way, getting your cervix checked is not a picnic. It sucks. It hurts really, really bad, and they kept recommending me to get a epidural every single time they did my cervix check, and I'm just like, you guys are, the cervix check is what's hurting, not the contractions. The cervix check is actually worse than the contractions was for me. At that point I was like, I need an epidural. I can't stand another however many hours of this with you guys checking my cervix and, you know, all that kind of stuff without some kind of pain medication, because that's the worst part of it. And then that's when the contractions started getting worse anyway, so it kind of, it worked out in that sense anyways. So they gave me an epidural. It hurt a little bit, it stung, and all that kind of good stuff. Drugs are nice, drugs are good. I stopped feeling the contractions after that, but I could still feel my feet. It just felt like my feet were asleep, and that, like, it freaked me out. Like, they're just heavy, I guess, but I could still feel everything, so that was good too. I forgot to mention, my husband, who was freaking out about going to the hospital and stuff, we accidentally missed our turn. If you miss your turn on the way to a hospital, the next turn at the on the highway is another like 15 minutes added. And so he was freaking out. I was like, babe, I'm calm, I'm good, it's okay. He was freaked out. He almost passed out when we got to the hospital too, after they put my IV in. And the nurse was like, sit down and put your feet up. And he did that, and I convinced him finally to go get some food, because I know he has low blood sugar, and I think that was what was contributing to it. So he goes, gets food, and the nurse comes back in. She's like, where's your husband? I'm like, oh, I convinced him to go get food. And she's like, oh, good. I was worried how you guys were going to get through labor without him passing out. And I was like, me too. Oh, but I love him. Anyways, so the finale, you know, pushing sucks. Like, that was the worst part of the whole thing. Actually, no, pushing was fine. I had really bad back pains. I think that's back labor. That was the worst part for me. I got tired about an hour and a half in, but she was born like at 2 hours, I think. She called the doctor in. The doctor wasn't there. She was at her house, so she had to drive in. I'm just like, why wasn't she here? I was been pushing for this last hour and a half. And she's like, oh, well, she lives really close. She'll be here any minute, but I can't have you push. That was the worst part, because your body naturally wants to push during contractions. It feels nice, it feels better, it sucks holding back. That was the worst pain that the entire labor was for me, was holding back, waiting for the doctor, and not pushing because of contractions. Finally, the doctor shows up, have another contraction. I'm like, I want to push, I want to push. And he's like, hang on, let me put all this gear on. I'm like, why weren't you here 10 minutes ago? And like, I went through 3 contractions without her being there, or maybe more. I think it was like 3, so it wasn't that bad. But I was just like, I want to get this baby out of me. I need to get this baby out of me. So I ended up like closing my eyes and pushing, and I didn't even see her like come up, and they're like, look at your daughter. And that's when I realized that I actually had her. Like, I pushed her out, because I had my eyes closed. I was just pushing when I felt the contractions coming. I was letting my body do its thing. And yeah, she was born at 11:49 on May 29th p.m. So she was really close to being on the 30th, but she wanted to be a 29th baby. She was 6 pounds and 12 ounces. She was 19.5 inches long. She was a small little thing. I don't know if I'm ever going to reveal her name on here. I think that's a security issue. I don't know who's watching these videos, that kind of thing. It might be just like over precautious, but I'm going to call her Starfish on here. That way, if someone walks up to her and it's like, hey, Starfish, she knows that that person's not someone that she knows, you know what I mean? Like, I'm thinking like ahead of years. If I ever get big on YouTube and all that kind of stuff, I'm gonna call her Starfish. The reason why I am is because she does this all the time and it cracks me up. I go to feed her the bottle, and she'll get all excited and bob her head, and then like as I'm getting ready to put the bottle in her mouth, she just takes her hand and then she goes like this and she starts sucking on her palm, and it's like this against her face, and I thought it looked like a starfish. So I even call her a starfish. She does it all the time. I don't know why, but she just wants to fight me to get that ball in her mouth, and it cracks me because she's just like la 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 la. I'm like, stop, I just want to feed you. Okay, so did I miss anything? I'm just gonna go to the after. She's 1 month old today, or not today, yesterday. 1 month old 2 days ago. Oh my god, what day is it? It's Thursday. Tuesday. Last Tuesday, she was 1 month old. I did cute little pictures with her. I don't know. She's adorable. She's a doll. I love her. Yeah, so the after pregnancy, after the labor, coming home, those obsessive thoughts I told you guys about got worse. So much worse. I was so convinced that I was going to do something that would hurt her in some sort of way. Not like me like hurting her, like me like not knowing to look for something like medically wrong with her and her getting hurt from it. So like I was full on to breastfeeding. I tried really, really hard to breastfeed. I breastfed on demand for the most part. There was a point where I denied her because my boobs hurt so much. Like my nipples were cracked and bleeding, and I just couldn't do it. At that point, we went and got formula at that point. So they hurt really, really bad. But I was trying to breastfeed her. I did the best that I could. I know I did. This is one of the things that made me, this is what kickstarted my baby blues / postpartum depression. Not postpartum depression, postpartum. So this is what kickstarted my baby blues. So it was probably like 3 days in. I was feeding her and all this kind of stuff, but she was crying, but she was sleeping all the time, you know. And then I noticed her lips were getting dry, and she wasn't producing dirty diapers anymore. And I was like, okay, well, she never really produced dirty diapers past that like tar stuff at the end. So I was like, okay, so I don't know if I should be concerned about that. So we didn't have a pediatrician yet because we would be introduced to them at the 1 week. I already made that appointment, all that kind of stuff, so we were just waiting for that appointment. And then Friday came around, and I was like, Mom, can you watch her so that we can go to Babies R Us real quick and get her some newborn clothes? Because it dawned on me we only had one outfit for newborn. I don't know why, but we only had one. So I was like, okay, I'm going to go and buy her some newborn clothes and stuff. And then Mom's like, okay, well, what if she gets hungry while you're gone? I'm like, I'll go pump real quick. So I pumped, and I didn't even get half an ounce of breast milk, which I know that the breast milk and the pump is different than when you're actually breastfeeding, because the pump doesn't know how to like actively get the milk from your body. The baby does that best. So I didn't know that at the time though. So when I saw half an ounce, I was like, is that all she's getting? So I hand this to Mom, and I was like, here, this is all I have. We'll be gone for maybe 15-20 minutes. And Mom's like, you were in there for like 30 minutes. I was like, I know. She's like, is she starving? And this is what kickstarted my baby blues, because Mom's like, maybe your milk's not coming. Why is it only this much? And she's never breastfed, so she wouldn't have known in her defense. Sorry guys. She also gets really gassy and can't pass gas or poop very well. And she gets really, like, it hurts. And I feel so bad because she's so tiny. We talked to our pediatrician about it though, and it's apparently really, really normal as long as she passes within 48 hours. So I'm just like, but she's in this pain. Anyways, so that kickstarted my baby blues really bad, because I thought, like, the entire time from the hospital until that Friday, which was only like 3 or 4 days, that she was starving, and that just killed me. So all the way up to Babies R Us, I was bawling. And then as we came back, we stopped and we got formula and all that kind of stuff. I was really, really upset. And then, sorry, that kick-started it. The entire weekend I was in tears, because I thought, like, for the first couple days of her life she was starving. That wasn't true. She was getting milk at just she was feeding more often because she wasn't getting enough, which if she kept feeding, it would have been fine, except it hurt so bad that I couldn't, like, the pain was so unreal. Like toe curling pain, and I couldn't do it. So while I was healing and stuff, we did give her formula. She stopped producing wet diapers. That was a big indicator for us, that she wasn't getting enough to eat anyways. So once we did that, she pooped. She gave us wet diapers. Her lips stopped being dry. I think she was on the risk of being dehydrated. Her skin had a yellow tint after that. It finally has gone away. She's now a nice PG tint. So I wasn't producing enough, but I know that now. But it really freaked me out. I would find random things to obsess, like I was obsessed with her health. Like that is what I was concerned with, that something was going to go on that I didn't know to look for, like her not getting enough breast milk, and that freaked me out so bad. That was my obsessive thought process. My thoughts were racing. I was in tears for like the first entire week after that moment. We went to the doctor's office, explained the situation to him, that she's been on formula and breast milk. He congratulated us for knowing the signs of, hey, no wet diaper, we need to do something. He was really happy about that. He's like, you guys did the right thing. We had 2 doctors tell us that, because we've seen 2 different doctors since then, that we did the right thing. 3 doctors, because we saw the lactation consultant too. So we made an appointment the next day with the lactation consultant, who told me that basically I have damaged tissue in my breasts, and that I might not ever be able to produce enough for her, but some breast milk is better than none, so keep doing what I'm doing, which is pumping and mixing breast milk and formula together whenever I can. So that's what I've been doing. She was more concerned about my mental health, because I think she saw how stressed I was, and she basically told me, like, hey, she's only this little once. Enjoy her. Like, this is your new baby. You should be enjoying her. You're obviously, like, you know, so concerned. And her telling me that kind of, like, put everything in perspective for me. So I had, like, I cried for the first couple days, and then after that, I was just like, okay, I need to figure this out. I need to keep moving. I need to learn her. I need to, you know, enjoy her. So, like, for the first 2 weeks, we stayed in this room. And it might have not been healthy. I don't know. But we napped together. I fed her. I pumped in here. We watched some TV together. We slept together. It was just really nice, like 2 straight weeks and nothing but, like, looking at our hands and our feet and our toes. And I would Google random stuff, like her arching her back. And by the way, do not Google that, because that could terrify you for the rest of your life. Apparently, it can be a whole bunch of, like, development delays. And I was just like, what if she has this? What if she has that? And my husband's like, stop. We won't know that for a really long time. And also arching back, gas pains. So that's what she has been dealing with, is a lot of gas pains. And I feel so bad for it. We switched bottles for her. We switched formula for her. We did a lot of stuff, and it's just, it is what it is. She's a happy spitter, so the doctor's not concerned as long as she's gaining weight, which is another thing. At her first appointment, she lost weight. So that's how I also knew that I wasn't providing enough for her. And now she's 7 pounds. Oops, sorry. I don't know why it just randomly refocused. She's 7 pounds and 12 ounces now, so she has gained a pound at her 1-month checkup. Yeah, that's it. I was just looking at my, stop refocusing on my face. I was just checking to make sure I didn't forget anything. Sorry, this is a very, very long video, but I wanted to go through the pregnancy and the birth video, or the birth story, and then afterwards and all that kind of stuff. And I didn't do that throughout my entire pregnancy except for once, so I felt like I needed to redo it again. Yeah. So I don't know if we're gonna have any more children after this. I am fine with just her. I'm sure, like, in a couple years I'm gonna have that baby fever, and I'm just like, another baby, and then I will really hope for a boy then. Like, that's gonna be, like, my main thing. It's like, I really want a boy. If I had a daughter, I would be just happy, but, like, I really like the name we picked out, so I hope we have a boy. If we decide to have another child, like, I'm getting ahead of myself. I don't know if we will. I lost 1 ovary. I don't know if I mentioned that. They did extract 1 ovary, the one that had the mass on it. They had to take it with them. So I have only one ovary. I know that doesn't affect my fertility. I just don't want to lose another one, I guess. I don't know. I don't know if that's how it works. She said that there's just as much of a chance of my other one having one as my first one did. And I had one, so I'm just like, so does that mean my chance is greater? I don't know. But yeah, I'm happy with just her right now. I don't know, like the labor thing, I just went into it with a positive mindset, to be honest with you. I was like, I'm just gonna do what the doctors tell me to. I didn't look at any kind of birthing video. I didn't go to any class. I just wanted to go in there not expecting what was gonna happen, because I tend to work better that way in my mind. So I went in there not expecting to know what was going on, and they explained it really well to me. I'm a first-time mom and all that kind of stuff, and they helped me through it, and I was just like, okay, like this was good for me. This was good. I liked doing this. The labor sucked. The pushing sucked. The drugs were good. I know some people don't believe in using the epidural. That's fine. I'm not one of those people. I could not do it without it. So there's that too. But yeah, so I think the worst part was waiting for the doctor when I was pushing. That was probably the worst part for me. And then also baby blues. As soon as the baby blues hit, I was like, I can't do this again. Like, that was it for me. Like, I couldn't think about bringing another child in the world and then wondering about that child too. And we're so financially strapped now as it is that I'm just like, I'm okay with just this one. And I'm okay with spoiling the crap out of her and all that kind of stuff. And I'm happy that she's here and that she's healthy so far and all this kind of other stuff. I do wonder, like, oh, is that a symptom of something? And then my husband's like, let me call the doctor because you're just going to obsess about it. And but he's been great. He's been helping me with refocus. He's been helping me with the nightly feedings. He's been helping when he gets off work. And I've just been taking care of her during the day, which just consists of napping. I did start reliving again. I've cleaned the house. The house is now clean. I've also started, doing the YouTube thing again. I have a whole book, that book I showed you in the very beginning. Started jotting down ideas. That's my bullet journal. It's basically not even a bullet journal at this point. It's basically just like a YouTube check off list, because that's all I use it for. I have work in progresses. One of them was this video, and another one is the next video that I'm getting ready to record today, hopefully. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, so I haven't even showed you guys my daughter yet. She's asleep right now. And I'm sitting, so I don't know how effectively I can do this. But, come here, starfish. Oh, up, 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 up. I know. Mama's weird. Mama's so weird. Oh, it's not gonna focus. You guys will never see my daughter. Aww. Get my hair out of your mouth. Could you not look like a little toad right now? She's so small. Here, you know what? I'm just gonna push this back. You guys, I never even showed you guys my tripod. I feel so professional right now. I have a tripod for my phone. But yeah, here she is. Little starfish. Little chunky baby that doesn't want to pose for the camera or anything. Why didn't you come out of the womb just posing? Why are you refocusing on something else other than my face? Come here. Oh, I guess it's kind of focused. But yeah, this is her. My little girl. My little small thing. I'll just pull you guys back in. Hi there. I'm sorry, I'm so weird. Oh, that's why I had you turned. Because that window is like a light of doom. It wasn't the best room to record in, but my stepdad's home, and I didn't feel comfortable doing this in the living room, so I decided to do it in here. First video back, and it's 15 minutes long. I think that's a pretty good test and stuff. Practice, that's the word I was looking for. Pretty good practice for me returning to actual videos again. Again, I don't know what videos are going to make the cut, what aren't. I'm going to post the stuff that I have pre-recorded already, obviously. I might combine the Life is Strange videos. It's all up in the air. Who knows what I'm going to do? I don't even know what I'm going to do. Anyways, guys, if you liked this video, press that like button. If you want to watch more of my videos, press that subscribe button. I make videos Monday through Thursday, sometimes on Friday, which should be more frequent now. It should be Monday through Friday. We'll see how ambitious I get. Anyways, guys, I hope you guys are having an awesome day. I will talk at you guys' face. I will talk at your faces later. Bye!